Welcome to part 27 of the Ultimate Unsolved Mysteries Iceberg. In this series, we deep dive cases including true crime, mysterious disappearances, myths and legends, strange events, internet mysteries, and more. Also, I upload content 3 to 5 times per week, so make sure to like and subscribe and hit that sweet notification bell so you never miss new content. The disappearance of Colleen Wood. In late 2000, Colleen Wood, a 53-year-old woman who had recently embarked on a new chapter of her life in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, vanished under mysterious circumstances. Colleen Wood's life before her disappearance was marked by significant changes. After ending a long-term relationship, Wood moved from Ohio to Florida, seeking adventure and a fresh start. She found employment as an office manager at Lighthouse Point Marina, where she was known for her friendly demeanor and ability to connect with customers. Colleen's life took a seemingly romantic turn when she met John Paul Sr., a former professional race car driver, mutual fund manager, and millionaire yacht owner. What Colleen almost certainly didn't know is that John Paul Sr. had a much darker side. He operated a large drug trafficking operation. In 1983, in response to one of his, quote, business partners cooperating with the state, John Paul Sr. shot the witness numerous times and then fled the United States. Colleen was almost certainly unaware that John Paul Sr. was still on probation and had only been released from prison in 1999, the year prior to their meeting. However, John Paul Sr.'s potential criminal history is even darker than attempting to silence a quote-unquote business partner in an illegal operation. In 1980, a woman named Chalice Barnett, who took the legal name Chalice Paul, married John Paul Sr. Chalice Barnett herself vanished under mysterious circumstances in 1981. But let's not get too far off course. Again, it's a safe assumption that Colleen Wood had no idea that the person she had started dating had such a dark past as he presented extremely well. In the days before everything was digitized, he could easily present to her a curated version of his life where he was simply a race car driving millionaire mutual fund manager. And unlike most shady individuals like this we've covered on this series so far, his backstory was actually true, just with significant omissions. Their relationship quickly evolved, and Wood and Paul planned a 5-year sailing tour around the world. In preparation, Wood sold her condo and quit her job, intending to invest in Paul's business ventures and work alongside him as a decorator and renovator for his yacht. The last known contact with Wood was in December 2000 when she informed her son that she would be embarking on the sailing tour around the world. Further at this time, she mentioned a trip to Key West with Paul and a subsequent lack of availability due to poor cell reception. Following Wood's disappearance, an investigation into her case uncovered suspicious financial activities. Approximately $40,000 was withdrawn from her bank account, and her credit card was used to place peculiar advertisements in a newspaper. One of the ads was for an individual with sailing experience to help sail a ship. This is perhaps not inherently suspicious, given that a yacht needs a crew. The other ad was a great deal more sinister, being placed for a female companion to accompany an individual on a long boat voyage. The subtext of the second advertisement appears to be that the woman who was filling this role would be receiving financial compensation for her, quote, services rendered aboard the ship. Surveillance footage linked all these suspicious transactions to 2 women who claimed they were instructed by a man to do so in exchange for money. These developments added layers of complexity to the case, suggesting possible foul play. John Paul allegedly gave 3 different versions of the event to 3 different people. According to Colleen's son, John Paul's daughter allegedly told him that Colleen flew into a rage over John Paul maintaining contact with an ex-girlfriend and left. According to this version of events, John Paul never saw her again. That said, this version of events is hearsay, based upon what John Paul's daughter was allegedly told. Colleen's son then claims he spoke to John Paul himself, and that John Paul advised him that there was an argument, and she did leave after the argument, but that he saw her once more. According to this version of events told by John Paul, Colleen came back a few days after the argument with a muscular goon to force John Paul to hand over her belongings. John Paul then claimed that after this instance with this unknown man that he never saw her again. This tale led to Colleen's son filing a missing persons report, which led to the Fort Lauderdale Police Department assigning detectives to the case. These detectives interviewed him in May 2001, and John Paul told the detectives a third version of events. This version of events embellishes upon the previous version of events allegedly told to Colleen's son. In his account to the authorities, John Paul advised that Colleen owed him money and had made no efforts whatsoever to pay him back. In this version of events, she then came back with 2 threatening men to pick up her belongings, and John Paul left Fort Lauderdale permanently very soon after. When police wanted to question John Paul Sr. further, they discovered he had vanished. Notably, this was a violation of his probation. Since vanishing in 2001, there have been numerous sightings of John Paul around the world. The first sighting was in Montego Bay in Jamaica, where he was thought to have stayed for a period of time. In 2004, there was a confirmed sighting of him in Fiji, and John Paul appears to have set up residence in the Pacific Island nation for some period of time. It's speculated that he resided there due to the lack of extradition treaty between Fiji and the United States. While he was in Fiji, a female companion of his stole a laptop from aboard his yacht and eventually provided it to American authorities, who determined that Colleen had owned the laptop. Further sightings occurred in Thailand and Italy, with his last definitively confirmed sighting being in Italy in 2009. If he is still alive today, John Paul Sr. would be 85 years old. Colleen Wood hasn't been sighted nor heard from since 2000, and while she is still officially missing, she is unfortunately presumed to be deceased. If you have any details on this case, please reach out to the Fort Lauderdale Police Department. La Pascualita, the Mexican Corpse Bride. This is a great suggestion by Discord community member CC Noodle. Thanks for this intriguing suggestion. Remember, if you have a suggestion, please mention it here in the comments or join the Discord channel to discuss it with me and the community directly. La Pascualita, also known as the Mexican Corpse Bride, has captivated imaginations and sparked debates for over 90 years. This lifelike mannequin stands in the window of La Popular, a bridal shop in Chihuahua, Mexico, and is rumored to be the preserved body of the original shop owner's daughter. The mannequin first appeared on March 25, 1930, and since then, its uncanny realism, from expressive facial features to varicose veins on its legs, has made it a subject of fascination and fear. The legend tells of Pascuala Esparza, the shop owner, whose daughter was poised to marry but died from a black widow spider bite on her wedding day. In her grief, Esparza supposedly preserved her daughter's body, dressing it in a bridal gown and placing it in the shop window. This tale has been bolstered by the mannequin's lifelike appearance, including detailed hands and glassy eyes, leading many to believe it might indeed be a corpse. Over the years, employees and visitors have reported unsettling experiences, such as feeling watched by La Pascualita or noticing subtle changes in its position, further fueling the legend. Skeptics and experts, however, argue against the possibility of La Pascualita being a real corpse. They note the challenges of preserving a body in such pristine condition for decades, especially in the variable climate of Chihuahua and under the daily handling required for dress changes. The consensus among professionals is that maintaining an embalmed body in a public storefront without significant deterioration over such a long period is highly unlikely. Despite this, the debate continues, with believers pointing to the extraordinary detail of La Pascualita's hands as evidence of its human origin. In my view, this is an extremely unnerving mannequin, even detached from the backstory. The eyes look unlike anything I've ever seen on a mannequin, and look much more in common with what I can only term a taxidermy job. Further, the hands of the quote-unquote mannequin are absolutely and completely unlike anything I've ever seen on a mannequin before. The level of detail in the hands strongly suggests to me that this mannequin may actually be the real deal. Now, I have to be very careful about what I say next, given the censorship on this platform, but I would suggest that this quote-unquote mannequin isn't actually embalmed. Rather, it looks to me as though it has undergone some sort of taxidermy process. At any rate, if you're just listening to this video right now, I need you to take out your phone right now and have a look at this mannequin, and especially its hands. Let me know in the comments what you think of this quote mannequin, and whether you think this mannequin was once alive. Also, as a quick aside, the image of this mannequin may have been the only photograph so far in this series that sent a shiver down my spine. The Rokurokubi. The Rokurokubi, a creature of Japanese folklore, is a yokai that closely resembles a human, but with some very peculiar differences. Some can stretch their necks to great lengths, while other forms of them, known as nukakubi, have heads that detach and fly independently. The Rokurokubi, much like most elements now associated with Japanese culture, gained traction during the Edo period starting in the 17th century. These beings appear as normal women during the day but undergo a startling transformation at night. Some Rokurokubi are said to be unaware of their condition, attributing their nighttime prowling to nightmares, while others are supposedly fully conscious of their nature. Despite their human appearance, some legends suggest that Rokurokubi can be identified by white marks on their necks, or by their tendency to sleep with their heads in their laps. And yes, I would consider it a strong indicator that the individual you discover sleeping may not be human, if she's elongated her neck so she can use her legs as a pillow. The origins of Rokurokubi vary, with some accounts attributing their condition to religious or spiritual transgressions, thereby cursing them to live among humans as monsters. According to this belief, they seek out and punish those who disrespect Buddhist precepts, sometimes through deadly means. Under this formulation, Rokurokubi are only a threat to those who act in a transgressive manner. Other explanations offer a psychological perspective, suggesting that the transformation symbolizes a suppressed desire, with the affected individuals unaware of their true condition. Rokurokubi stories are rich and varied across different regions and texts, featuring in numerous Edo period tales. In one story from the Kashiyawa, a peddler tells a husband that a white dog's liver can cure his wife's illness. After the dog is slain and the liver administered, their next-born daughter becomes a Rokurokubi. Another account from the Shusai Hiki mentions a male Nukikubi, illustrating that while these beings are usually female, male examples exist. One particularly unnerving story, called Churyo Manroku, reads like something out of a modern horror novel. In this tale, which translates to English as Rokurokubi Village, a traveler comes upon an isolated mountain town where everyone wears a headscarf. As you will recall, Rokurokubi have distinctive marks on the back of their necks, which reveal their true yokai nature. The traveler ends up discovering that the reason everyone wears a headscarf is to cover up the white mark. But spoiler alert, by this time it was too late for the poor traveler. Rokurokubi are a staple of the modern Japanese horror genre, presumably due to the inherently scary nature of a normal-looking woman's head detaching or neck elongating. Also, I note that the Rokurokubi has permeated the Western consciousness due to an extremely creepy Japanese ad that started circulating on YouTube around a decade ago. I've attached the still image from this ad to this video on the right, and for anyone listening only, you're going to want to look now. I remember seeing this video featuring the Rokurokubi back in the early days of YouTube, and I think I blocked out this core memory until researching for this segment. Jimmy here, the YouTuber behind the Lazy Chill Zone channel. If you're enjoying my content, please hit the like and subscribe buttons and the notification bell. My goal is to create the most expansive iceberg series in YouTube history, and I want you all along for the ride. Consider signing up for a YouTube membership and joining the Patreon. Your support allows me to tackle more difficult issues that risk my videos getting demonetized. Also, remember to join the Discord community. We've got well over 50 members now, and the community is super active. Click the link in the description. The Canberra Mandela Effect. Quick explanation for anyone unfamiliar. The Mandela Effect is named after the collective false memory of Nelson Mandela's death in prison in the 1980s. It now generally represents a phenomenon where a large group of people remember an event or fact differently from how they actually occurred. One newly emergent example of the Mandela Effect involves the capital of Australia. While Canberra has been the official capital since its designation in 1913, many individuals vividly recall Sydney, the most populous and internationally recognized city in Australia, as the nation's capital. My theory is that this belief stems from Sydney's global prominence, overshadowing Canberra's status, despite its role as the political and administrative center of the country. Sydney's iconic landmarks, like the Sydney Opera House, contribute to its international fame, possibly leading to the misbelief that it must also be the capital. At any rate, either the people who remember Sydney as the capital of Australia are from another dimension which merged with ours, or they simply misremembered the capital of Australia. Or perhaps most likely they never actually knew what the capital of Australia was to begin with. Perhaps they simply assumed that because Sydney was a city they've heard of and seen pictures of, it must be the capital. The most mysterious song on the internet. The most mysterious song on the internet remains one of the most perplexing internet mysteries to date. Its origins trace back to a recording off a German radio station during the early 1980s by a teenager named Darius. This peculiar track, characterized by its post-punk and new wave elements, was rediscovered by Darius's sister Lydia, who initiated an online quest for its identification in 2007. A community sprung up around the song and the hunt for the identity of the song. The foremost community is the subreddit r/the mysterious song, which serves as a clearinghouse for theories and research into the topic. The mysterious song community has taken their efforts extremely seriously and has reached out to a number of people potentially involved in the playing of the song originally, as well as potential artists. Further, these community members were able to get the complete playlist of all tracks played by the radio station in question, meaning that the true name of the song is almost certainly known. Paul Baskerville, the original DJ suspected of airing the track, has involved himself in the investigation, even playing the song on his current show in hopes of garnering attention. Paul Baskerville has no recollection of the song, which I've heard portrayed as proof that he likely didn't play it. However, it's necessary to remember that he has been a radio DJ for over 40 years, meaning he's probably forgotten more songs than most people have ever heard. Various theories have been posited regarding the song's origin, including speculation that it might have been a demo recording by a local German band. Another theory suggests that the song may have been produced as part of coursework at a university in Germany. Another theory suggests that an obscure Greek New Wave band named Statues in Motion produced the song. With respect to this last theory, while it has gained traction on YouTube lately, I can't find any convincing evidence to suggest that this is the case. Further, the member of the band who claimed it as a Statues in Motion song appears to variously claim and disavow the song based on the mood he is in on the day in question. Further yet, the lead singer of the band was allegedly located in Australia, but for whatever reason, refuses to publicly claim the song. Others have speculated that the most mysterious song on the internet is some sort of ARG, or alternate reality game, coming up with numerous convoluted reasons for why this may be. In my view, after researching the case, it appears that the most likely explanation is that this was an obscure local northern German band who submitted a demo tape to a DJ. The tape got played once and then forgotten about for years, until the hunt for the song began. In support of this theory, there are numerous songs on the radio playlist in the time period where the most mysterious song was played that are entirely unknown. Also, unfortunately, while I would love to play a segment of this song in this section, according to other YouTubers, playing the song can lead to a copyright strike. The Kofu UFO Incident. This is another great contribution by patron and Discord community member Monoxide Wendigo. In February 1975, the Kofu UFO incident unfolded in Kofu City, the capital city of Yamanashi Prefecture in Japan. The incident involved two 7-year-old boys, Masato Kawano and Katsuhiro Yamahata. The boys reported encountering a UFO and its occupants near the Hinode housing estate, sparking a flurry of investigation and speculation that persists to this day. The boys' account detailed a close encounter with a UFO that descended into a vineyard, producing a crackling sound upon its landing. The craft, described as disc-shaped and silver with a dome atop, allegedly opened to reveal a humanoid creature. This being, about 4 feet tall, wore a silver suit and bore rabbit-like ears, along with distinctive metal fangs. The boys claimed the creature explored its surroundings, seemingly oblivious to them, before noticing them and patting Yamahata on the shoulder, which caused him to collapse in shock. Following their experience, the boys and their mothers returned to the vineyard, where they observed a pulsating orange light, which abruptly vanished. The incident was subsequently shared with their classmates and became a local sensation. Notably, additional witnesses, including other children and adults, reported seeing strange lights in the sky around the same time. Investigations into the incident revealed physical evidence at the vineyard, such as knocked over concrete posts, soil marks, and traces of abnormal radioactivity. These findings contradicted the Japanese Civil Aviation Bureau's dismissal of the sighting as merely the lights of a plane flying at low altitude. It's unclear to me how they explained away the sightings of extraterrestrials, as sources on this case in English are unfortunately quite limited. However, based upon similar cases previously, I would hypothesize they stated it was a hoax or a mass hysteria event involving all witnesses. The Hombre Gato. The Hombre Gato, or Catman, is a creature from South American folklore, particularly in Argentina. The creature is described as part human and part feline, with its activities confined to the nocturnal hours, where it hunts and terrifies unsuspecting animals and people. The tales of this cryptid have emerged primarily from rural areas, and the creature is less well known in populated urban centers. The legend of the Hombre Gato shares similarities with other mythological beings, such as the werewolf, in that it is said to roam at night, preying on both animals and humans alike. While some assert the reality of this creature, the majority of people now view the hombre gato as a fictional creature or a fringe cryptid. The origins of the hombre gato are not clearly defined, and it may represent a mixture of European and indigenous South American traditions. Despite the lack of concrete evidence supporting the existence of the hombre gato, the tale persists, captivating the imagination of those who hear it. In more recent years, some theorists have suggested that this creature represents the southern extent of the much better known chupacabra. The evidence for this appears to be the potential similarity in description between the two cryptids. Other theories include the creature being a South American variant of a skinwalker or a witch transforming into a cat. Still others suggest that the Catman could be a rare felid-type extraterrestrial. If you're from South America or Argentina in particular, or have roots there, please let me know how common the tale of the Catman is in this region of the world. Are cats domesticated, or did cats domesticate us? Cats, with their origin tied closely to the wild cats of the Near East, have journeyed from untamed wilderness into the very heart of human society, becoming one of the most beloved pets across the globe today. The story of cat domestication intertwines with the dawn of agriculture, around 8,000 to 10,000 years ago. The emergence of farming in the Middle East, the Indus River Valley, and the Yellow River Valley brought humans into close contact with wildcats. As agriculture attracted rodents, wildcats ventured into human settlements, drawn by the abundance of prey. This mutually beneficial relationship provided the initial catalyst for domestication, with cats offering rodent control in exchange for shelter and food from humans. This symbiosis suggests that cats essentially domesticated themselves by adapting to a lifestyle within human settlements, becoming less fearful and more beneficial to their human hosts. Unlike other domestic animals, the journey of cats towards domestication was less about human intent and more about natural selection within the human environment. Wild cats that were less fearful and more tolerant of humans had a survival advantage, leading to a gradual adaptation towards domestic life. This natural process of self-domestication is evident in the archaeological record, including findings such as the burial of a cat and its human owner in Cyprus around 7500 BC. So this necessarily begs the question, are cats actually domesticated, or are they just wild animals that find it more comfortable to live with humans than without them? And yes, I know what all current and former cat quote-unquote owners are thinking right now. First, though, it's necessary to briefly discuss what domestication actually entails. Domestication in animals denotes a gradual process through which a population of animals becomes genetically and behaviorally adapted to live closely with humans. This process leads to changes that make them distinct from their wild counterparts. This evolutionary journey is generally influenced by both selective breeding by humans and natural selection within a human-altered environment. Traits that are encouraged include docility, a reduced fear of humans, a capacity for companionship, and of course, the cuteness factor. As a result, domesticated animals generally exhibit marked differences in physical appearance, behavior, and life cycles compared to their wild ancestors. Given that cats introduce themselves into the human environment uninvited, and given that wild cats look virtually indistinguishable from the vast majority of domestic cats, cats appear to be semi-domesticated at best. Compare cats to dogs, the vast majority of which don't even remotely resemble their ancestral wolves. Given all the evidence, I'm of the opinion that there's a significant chance that humans are the domesticated species in the human-cat relationship. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Also, check out the Patreon and the YouTube membership. Your support allows me to take on more difficult topics that risk demonetization. Remember to hit the playlist to see dozens of hours of Unsolved Mysteries content. Shout out to my patrons Kazak Cutie, Kurt the Squirt, Monoxide Wendigo, Jeffer Metcalf, Z-Volts, Director Delta, Unknown Delusions, and Blasphemous. Also, big shout out to YouTube members Jordan All and Syntax Nexus. Also to every viewer and listener, I love you so much. Thanks for all your support. I'm always so happy to have you here. Until next time, stay safe and healthy. Peace out, everyone.